Ryan Kowalczyk, step away from the board.
What? Who are you?
We have a warrant for your arrest, Ryan.
You're looking at Ryan Kowalczyk, a 9-year CrossFit gym owner in Clinton Township, Michigan. His career ends in this footage, and he still has no idea.
Wait, warrant for what? There has to be a mistake. I own this gym.
We're past that conversation.
No, just listen to me for 1 second. I can explain whatever you think you found.
The SD card was 32 gigabytes. Investigators cataloged its contents over 4 days. 847 video files, 38 months of footage, 15 women identified by name, cross-matched to gym membership records. One of them was 16 years old. That is what Ryan Kowalczyk recorded from the women's locker room and shower area of his own gym. Not a disgruntled employee, not a hidden contractor. The owner, the man who handed out the key fobs, the man whose name was on the lease, the man every single one of those 15 women had paid to trust. Quick question. Have you ever changed clothes in a gym locker room and assumed you had privacy? Tell me in the comments, and subscribe if you haven't yet. This channel doesn't let cases like this stay buried. Ryan Scott Kowalczyk was born in 1981 in Clinton Township, Michigan, a working-class suburb northeast of Detroit, where the houses sit close together on flat streets, and most families know at least one person who works or worked at one of the plants. His father spent 22 years running sheet metal at a Macomb County manufacturing facility. His mother worked part-time as a dental receptionist in Mount Clemens. They were not wealthy. They were stable. Ryan was the middle of 3 children. He played rec league soccer through middle school and ran cross-country his freshman year at Chippewa Valley High School before dropping it for a part-time job at a sporting goods store in the Partridge Creek Mall. He graduated in 2000 with no athletic scholarship, no college plan, and no particular direction. He enrolled at Macomb Community College in the fall of 2000 and left without completing a degree 2 years later. What he had instead was a National Academy of Sports Medicine personal training certification and a job at a 24-hour fitness in Sterling Heights at $11 an hour. He was 21 years old and genuinely good at what he did. Clients responded to him. He had the kind of presence that made people feel like they were being seen, like their goals mattered to him, like he was invested in their progress. He worked the floor for 4 years. By 2005, he had built a base of private clients on the side, training them in the off hours, earning extra money, building something. In 2006, he completed his CrossFit Level 1 certification. In 2007, he did his Level 2. He began following the affiliate model closely, studying the economics of it, watching the community-based gym concept grow. In 2009, Ryan Kowalczyk took out a $47,000 SBA microloan and co-signed a lease on a 4,800 square foot industrial unit on Canal Road in Clinton Township. He painted the interior himself over 3 weekends. He built the first pull-up rig with a friend from the certification weekend. He bought used equipment at auction and refinished it in the parking lot. When North Edge CrossFit opened its doors in November 2009, it had 12 members. By 2013, it had 141. He sponsored local 5K races. He ran a free Saturday class for first responders from the Clinton Township Fire Department. He hosted charity workouts for the food bank 3 times a year. His CrossFit LLC affiliate review that spring noted that member retention was above the regional average, the facility was maintained to standard, and coaching feedback was consistently positive. He had built something real. He was 32 years old, he owned a business, and he was respected in his community. That is the version of Ryan Kowalczyk that his members knew. That is the version that made what happened next so hard to process. Because the other version, the version that existed behind the locker room wall, had already been operating for 2 years. CrossFit operates through an affiliate licensing model, CrossFit LLC, headquartered in Washington, D.C., licenses its name and methodology to independently owned gyms. Each affiliate pays an annual fee and agrees to branding and programming standards. What CrossFit LLC does not do is inspect your facility. They do not audit your physical plant. They do not check your cameras or your locker rooms or the wall-mounted enclosures you installed during your renovation. That is entirely at the discretion of the owner. A small CrossFit affiliate in Macomb County with 140 members paying between $150 and $200 a month generates somewhere between $21,000 and $28,000 in gross monthly revenue. The owner is typically the head coach, the maintenance crew, the IT department, and the facilities manager. There is no second set of eyes on anything. There is no board. There is no compliance officer. There is one person, and that person decides what goes on the walls. Michigan Penal Code Section 750.539D makes it a felony to install a surveillance device in any place where a person has a reasonable expectation of privacy. A locker room, a changing area, a shower. The statute carries up to 2 years per count for adult victims. When the victim is a minor, enhanced sentencing provisions apply. The law is clear. The penalty is real. None of that mattered to Ryan Kowalczyk. Because here's the other thing about a small owner-operated gym. The members trust completely. They trust that the man who built the pull-up rig, who cheers for them at the end of every workout, who knows their names and their kids' names and their personal records. They trust that man with the most private spaces in the building, the locker room, the shower, the space where they are most exposed and most certain they are alone. That trust is not earned through inspection. It is extended freely, because who would violate it? Ryan Kowalczyk would. In the spring of 2015, Kowalczyk undertook a renovation of the women's locker room. New paint, new bench seating, new shelving. He managed the project himself. He did not hire a contractor for the final stage, the installation of a series of wall-mounted utility enclosures near the entrance and along the upper perimeter of the shower area. He told members they were for electrical routing and ventilation. Nobody asked to look inside them. In March of 2016, one of those enclosures began recording. The primary device was a 1080p pinhole camera housed inside a wall-mounted box positioned above the interior locker room door. The angle had been calibrated, not by accident, not by approximation. The field of view covered the changing benches, the locker row, and the entrance to the shower alcove. The camera recorded to an SD card. It did not transmit wirelessly. There was no signal to intercept. The only way to access the footage was to physically retrieve the card. Kowalczyk retrieved the card during early morning hours, before the 5 a.m. class began. He transferred the footage to an encrypted external drive at his home. He reformatted the card and returned it to the housing. He was methodical. He was practiced. He had developed a system. By 2017, there were 3 cameras. The second covered the bench area near the rear lockers. The third was positioned in the upper corner of the shower alcove. Same retrieval pattern, same early morning schedule, same encrypted drive. 2 members, in separate conversations more than 6 months apart, mentioned that the clock above the locker room door looked unusual. Kowalczyk told both of them it was a Bluetooth-enabled rep counter he was testing for the programming display. One accepted it without question. The other did not return to the gym. She did not call the police. She simply left, and Kowalczyk watched her go and continued. His life outside the gym was unremarkable. He drove the same 2011 Ram 1500 for 8 years. He did not take expensive vacations. He did not buy new equipment beyond what the gym required. There was no sudden wealth, no lifestyle shift, no financial signature that might attract attention. The operation was not for money. There was no buyer. There was no distribution. The footage sat on a drive in his home, and whatever Kowalczyk wanted from it, it was not profit. That is the part that stayed with investigators long after the arrest. The absence of a financial motive did not make it better. It made it worse. On the morning of January 11th, 2019, a member named Jenna Filotiko arrived for the 6 a.m. class. Jenna had been a member of North Edge CrossFit for 2 years. She was 34 years old. She knew Kowalczyk by name. She had recommended the gym to 3 people she worked with. After the class, she went to the locker room to change. The wall-mounted enclosure above the door, the one Kowalczyk had described as a rep timer, was visibly tilted. The cleaning crew had moved through the previous evening, and something had shifted. The housing was angled slightly downward, and in the gap where the casing had separated from the wall, Jenna Falotiko could see a lens aperture. She took a photograph on her phone. She did not confront Kowalczyk. She did not post it anywhere. She sent the photograph to a friend and asked what she was looking at, and her friend said, "Call the police, not the owner." Jenna Falotiko called the Macomb County Sheriff's Office at 8:47 that morning. A deputy arrived within the hour. Kowalczyk was on the floor running a noon prep session. The deputy asked to see the device above the locker room door. Kowalczyk said it was a rep timer. He offered to pull up the product listing on his phone. The deputy asked him to take it down. Kowalczyk said he would prefer to wait for his attorney. The deputy called for a detective. The gym was cleared. Members were asked to leave. At 11:22 a.m., a forensic technician removed the primary enclosure from the wall. The SD card was still inside. The Macomb County Sheriff's Office executed a search warrant on Kowalczyk's residence at 6:15 the following morning. In the spare bedroom that served as a home office, investigators located a Seagate external hard drive in the bottom drawer of a filing cabinet. The drive was encrypted. A forensic imaging team from the Michigan State Police Digital Forensics Unit cracked the encryption within 72 hours. What they found was organized. Folders by year, subfolders by month, 847 video files from the primary device alone. 2 additional SD cards recovered from a shoebox on the closet shelf, one fully formatted, one partially intact. The partially intact card yielded 23 additional files. Detective Priya Vashti of the Macomb County Sheriff's Office cross-referenced the video timestamps against the gym's key fob entry records. The fob system logged every entry, member name, date, time, and the log stretched back to 2014. Over the course of 2 weeks, Vashti identified 15 distinct individuals captured in the footage, 14 adults, 1 juvenile, 16 years old at the time of first recording, whose membership was registered in her mother's name. The juvenile appeared in 23 files spanning an 8-month period in 2017 and 2018. The metadata embedded in every file confirmed the camera's GPS coordinates matched the gym address exactly. The creation timestamps matched the fob logs. There was no gap, no ambiguity, no alternative explanation that held. The smoking gun was a text message exchange recovered from Kowalczyk's phone. December 4th, 2018, Jenna Falotiko. "Hey, that clock above the locker room door looks tilted again. Can someone fix it?" Kowalczyk. "Sorry about that, I'll get it sorted. Thanks for the heads up." The SD card in the primary device was reformatted within 48 hours of that exchange. 21 files from the preceding week were unrecoverable. Tasha Colvin, a member since 2016, gave a recorded statement to investigators on January 18th. She said, "He was always around, always fixing something, always adjusting something on the walls or the ceiling or the equipment. I never thought twice about it. You don't think twice about it. Why would you think twice about it?" The answer, Vashti would later tell the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office, was that there was never any reason to. That was the design. January 14th, 2019, 9:17 a.m., North Edge CrossFit parking lot, Clinton Township. Ryan Kowalczyk pulled into the lot in his Ram 1500 and walked toward the side entrance with his gym bag over one shoulder and his phone in his other hand. 2 marked Macomb County Sheriff's units were parked at angles across the lot. He saw them. He kept walking. Detective Vashti called his name from behind. He turned. Vashti. "Ryan Kowalczyk, stop right there." Kowalczyk. "Yeah, what is this?" Vashti. "We recovered the device from your locker room, Ryan. We have the card." Kowalczyk. "That is a rep timer. I have told 2 people that already. You can look up the model." Vashti. 847 files, Mr. Kowalczyk." Kowalczyk's gym bag shifted off his shoulder. He did not let it drop. He caught the strap and held it. Kowalczyk. I don't know what's on that card. I'm telling you right now that is not what you're calling it. You need to talk to my... He stopped. He looked at the 3 units. He looked at Vashti. He looked at the deputy standing to his left. Kowalczyk. I want my attorney. He did not speak again without counsel present. The Macomb County Prosecutor's Office filed charges on March 4, 2019. 15 counts of installing an eavesdropping device in a place of private nature, Michigan Penal Code Section 750.539D. Counts 1 through 14 covered the adult victims, felony charges, each carrying up to 2 years. Count 15 addressed the juvenile victim. Enhanced sentencing provisions applied, carrying a minimum of 3 years and a maximum of 20. Defense attorney Neil Schiff filed a motion to suppress the SD card, arguing that the deputy's request to remove the device constituted an unlawful search absent a warrant. The motion was denied. Schiff filed a second motion challenging the enhanced sentencing on count 15, arguing insufficient evidence of targeting. That motion was also denied. Trial began in October 2019 in Macomb County Circuit Court before Judge Maureen Tarkington. 6 days, 11 witnesses. The forensic technician who removed the device from the wall, Detective Vashti, the digital forensics examiner who cracked the drive encryption. 4 of the 15 identified victims, testifying about their membership history and their use of the locker room during the documented recording period. ADA Warren Blount played the text message exchange for the jury. He put the fob entry log on the projector. He walked through the folder structure on the encrypted drive, year by year, month by month, file by file, and let the jury sit with what it meant that someone had organized it that way. Jenna Filatico addressed the court before sentencing. She said, I went to that gym for 2 years. I trusted that space. I changed my clothes in there. I showered in there. I felt safe doing it because I was paying someone I thought I knew to maintain a safe facility. I didn't know he was recording me. I still think about it every time I get changed anywhere. If you want to see more accountability coverage like this, subscribe and hit the notification bell. These stories don't get the attention they deserve, and this channel isn't letting them disappear. Judge Tarkington addressed Kowalczyk directly at sentencing. She said, Mr. Kowalczyk, you were trusted with access to the most private spaces in that building. Your members paid for a fitness facility. They did not consent to surveillance. The installation of multiple devices over multiple years, maintained through a deliberate retrieval and concealment system, eliminates any claim of impulse or isolated lapse in judgment. This was systematic. It was deliberate. The presence of a minor in that footage removes any argument of minimal harm from this court's consideration. Count 15, the juvenile victim, 3 to 20 years, Michigan Department of Corrections. Counts 1 through 14, the adult victims, 11 months, concurrent. Ryan Kowalczyk was required to register as a sex offender upon release. His CrossFit affiliate license was terminated by CrossFit LLC within 72 hours of the verdict. The North Edge CrossFit signage came down the following week. The building was leased to a different operator by the spring of 2020. The Michigan legislature introduced a bill in the months following sentencing, proposing mandatory third-party inspection of private use changing areas in commercial fitness facilities. It was the first bill of its kind proposed in the state of Michigan. Ryan Kowalczyk is currently serving his sentence at Kinross Correctional Facility in Kincheloe, Michigan. Jenna Filatico's first phone call to the Macomb County Sheriff's Office lasted 4 minutes. It was enough. I've covered cases that were hard to understand. This one was impossible to explain. The case right here is just as dark. Click it.